Welcome to one of our D&R Greenway preserves. My name is Tina Notas. I'm the Director of Land Stewardship, and I'm here to explain to you our Trail Stewards program. We have about 40 miles of trails that we steward, so we definitely need volunteers to help us keep them clear. And loppers are one of the tools that you can utilize. We have a tool loaner program where you can pick up loppers or pruners at the D&R Greenway headquarter offices in Princeton. And basically you're just cutting down invasive species that are on the trail to help keep the trail clear.
Are there educational packets or any type of information to help people identify what type of invasive species to remove?
Yes, we ask people that are interested in our Trail Stewards program to email volunteer@drgreenway.org, and we'll send you an informational email that helps to ID the invasive species, as well as a reporting form that you can fill out after clearing the trail. So we're here at the Cedar Ridge Preserve, and I'm going to show you how to clear a trail. So what we're trying to do when we're clearing a trail is make it passable so that someone who is walking down can swing their arms and not have plants touching them while they're walking down. So we also want to cut anything that might be hitting your feet when you're walking so that little kids are comfortable on the trail as well. You can cut back anything that you see that's kind of on the trail hitting people, and as well as if you stretch your arms out wide and you see an invasive, you're welcome to, like after clearing the trail, after the trail's clear, you're welcome to cut anything else that's invasive that you see within like a 2-foot buffer on either side of the trail. If you have like a rock on the trail, you want to stand anything that you pull out by its roots up on the rock so that it doesn't re-sprout as well. So if it's on the rock, hopefully it'll dry out enough that it doesn't re-sprout. So this is an area that has a lot of Japanese stilt grass on the trail. This is the stilt grass. It's a very fine annual grass. Since it's an annual, you can just pull it up by its roots, and this really helps to keep the trail clear because this will grow a little bit taller and grow on people's legs and feet, and you know, ticks could be at the end of these just kind of waiting to jump on people. So this is a great thing to remove from trails. And so you could just very easily pull this stuff up. So just in 5 seconds like that, you know, pulled all this up and just kind of toss it in. And as you're doing so, you just want to be cognizant of any things that might be bothersome. So for example, like the poison ivy here, you want to kind of pull around it so that it doesn't get the oils on your gloves and, you know, potentially, you know, bother you if you touch something else afterwards. So you just kind of want to pull around the poison ivy, and just what I recommend is before you're going to clear an area, just kind of do a scan, see if there's any poison ivy there, and just pull around it. But this stilt grass is really, really easy to pull, so it's something that could be done fairly quickly and really help with keeping our trails clear. So I wanted to point out some plants here that look very similar, but one is invasive and one is a native species, and that is the native black haw viburnum, which is this plant right here. It has opposite leaves, which means the leaves are directly opposite each other on the stem, as you can see here. And then another plant that has almost the same looking leaf, but the leaves are alternate, which means that they are a little further down from each other on the stem. So you can see they're not directly across, a little further down. The invasive, this is the invasive autumn olive, and if you turn the leaf over, the underside is actually silver, which is a characteristic of olive. This is another comparison shot of a native viburnum and an invasive burning bush. This is the viburnum, the native viburnum, and this is the burning bush. And just want to point out, this burning bush actually has these little wings. While it does have the same sort of opposite leafing structure as the viburnum, the burning bush has these little wings on the stem that you can kind of see. And this is another invasive that should be removed. So this is multiflora rose. It's an invasive rose that takes over our forests in New Jersey, and it creates thousands of seeds, and really needs to be cut. So this is something that could be removed. It's got a compound leaf, and if you see a rose in the forest, it's probably multiflora rose. So you don't have to be too worried about cutting a native rose. But if you're really worried and you want to ID it for sure, you can find the little wing where the leaf meets the stem. There's a little wing that identifies multiflora rose. This is another invasive. This is some invasive on invasive action. There's a honeysuckle vine, which is an invasive honeysuckle vine on the multiflora rose right here. And this is another plant that could be removed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this and then throw it further in. And you can ID another invasive here. Oh, here it is. This is a autumn olive, which is a woody invasive. And so after you're done clearing the trail, if you want to remove that, since it's starting to become established right here, it's small enough that you can just use your loppers to cut at the base and remove the plant. So once you cut it, you can just take it and throw it further in. Okay, I'm over here with another invasive vine called bittersweet. This is a vine that will wrap around trees and eventually become so thick that it chokes them. It also competes with sunlight with the trees once it gets to the top of them. So I'm going to be cutting it at its base, and after you do that, you can actually just leave the vine on the tree and it'll just dry out and die there. So what you have to do is just kind of follow the vine to the ground and just look for the base and just cut it. You can, if you want to, you could also cut some of the vines that are on the tree and pull them down, but really it's okay to just leave them on there. So sometimes there's like multiple vines going up the tree, so you just kind of have to look around. But you're really helping trees out by doing that. So just cutting at the base and leaving it. We're going to do some poison ivy versus Virginia creeper identification. These are two plants that look very similar, but the poison ivy has 3 leaves, which everyone knows it as something that has 3 leaves, and it has these little ridges on the leaf sometimes on the top. And versus the Virginia creeper, which is, there you go, this is a better specimen over here, which is usually a 5-leafed vine. Both of them are vines, and there we go. So this one always has 5 leaves versus the 3-leafed of the poison ivy.